I just want to thank you guys for tuning in to today's episode. I sat down with LP and we had a really good conversation about finances, some of the things that we should learn in our community, right? This episode was sponsored by TRG Financial, and we talked a lot about his business, why he started his business. So I would definitely thank you guys for being here. Tap in again with me. And also, if you don't know, I did start my community calls. You can reach it going in the school community, or you can find my Instagram, or it'll be in the show notes below. Welcome to the Inner King Initiative podcast, and where we're coming as Black men to grow, to sharpen each other, and just to be in the space of safe. Right. It's not many safe places that we have, but I just want to welcome you guys for being here. And man, today, with this being April, because this episode will come out April, the first week of April, right? We're going to do a financial literacy month. And this is going to be a series where we're going to teach finances for adults. If you like me, I didn't grow up learning finances in the house, right? I learned from life and that's not fun. So I wanted to create a space where we can learn this month and really put emphasis on finances, because that is a big struggle within the Black community, right? And even people in general, honestly. But today's guest is that financial expert. Shout out to LP. How are you doing today, man?
Man, I'm doing good. First off, I appreciate being called an expert. People may have to judge that as we go along, but I can maybe earn that title. So I appreciate it.
You got it with me. You know more than I do.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah.
Man, today's episode is being sponsored by TRG Group. And can you tell us a little bit about that company?
Yeah. So TRG Financial is a brain baby of mine. It's my financial advising company where we work with personal advisory clients as well as institutional clients. So I can do everything from family wealth, family planning, individual planning, all the way to running a retirement plan for a major organization, making sure they're compliant and they've got investments where their employees can get to and through retirement.
Okay. So what led you to this space?
Man, now that's a journey. So I never thought that I would be the person managing people's money as you were getting started. I learned through life as well. Mm-hmm. So remember 08, 09. I don't know how old of a brother you are.
I'm 32.
Okay. So 08, 09, you were just now getting
high school.
Yeah. Like you were seeing the news headlines of the market crash.
Yep.
Okay. So at that time, I'm 28, 29.
Okay.
Was accumulating, I guess, wealth, you would say, in my career. Didn't realize that there could be a few things that would wipe it all out at one time. And that's what happened to me.
Right.
Recently married.
Okay. Congrats.
I didn't have any kids at that time, but recently married. And I can remember going back to my house and being like, well, we're broke. Like
that's a struggle.
Yeah. Hey, I'm living some of it now to this day, but the investments and things that I made, that while they were pragmatic, because I'm not a big risk taker and still not to this day, I didn't realize that there were a lot of other influences that could affect the way my money was managed.
Okay.
So from then on, I went and got another degree, decided I was going to study this, and then I changed my profession and went into finance about 2 years after that.
Okay. So when you got to this journey, like where did you start off at after college?
Okay. So from college, I'm communications. So you're also at the Hive.
Shout out to the Hive.
Yeah. So communications is actually where I got my start in most things.
Okay.
From there, I worked at the PGA Tour. Okay. So I've got a love and affinity for golf. From the PGA Tour, I worked in HR offices at 2 large institutions, matriculated my way from there to being like the vice president of HR, director of HR, in a few different roles. From that, I was tasked, a department head came to me and was like, hey, we got to revamp our retirement program.
Okay.
Okay, whatever. You know how you get that thing on your resume, duties to be assigned?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what happened to me. So I was probably about 32. When that happened, 45 now. So they came to me and they were like, hey, duties to be assigned. We need someone to manage this retirement program. The person who was here had all the institutional knowledge. They retired, figure it out. So over a period of maybe 2 years, I had to, not only learn what an investment portfolio was, how people matriculated their way from being an employee to retiring, but also how to have those conversations with staff, employees, as well as the vendors who worked with us. And that kind of built my muscle to decide, hey, I might be able to do this as a career as well.
Beautiful. Before we keep going though, I do want to shout out to the Hive. because, you know, they have helped me take my podcast to the next level for sure. When I came for the tour, I remember Dee told me, she said, tell all your friends the Hive is live. So here we go. The Hive is live, right? So if you're in the area, in Houston area, or you're just traveling down, you need somewhere to record, this is definitely a good space for you.
Man, I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
I know, absolutely, man. Y'all done a lot for me. And so, you know, you're doing this finance group and you also have the Hive. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
How are you managing all of it?
We're not, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, so I would say that you manage with great people around you. So you mentioned Dee. We won't give her full business out, but I would say she's definitely one of the anchors and partners in the building that makes sure that things are ran effectively.
Yeah.
You can't do anything by yourself. Like as we got into this building or even in this industry, I always told myself that if it's only my vision, then it's too small.
Right.
So I'm able to combine my vision with hers and a few other people in the building that I would consider our brain trust. And we've just been trying to operate from here. Now, things are growing and we would like them to grow faster. So come join us. Yeah, come join us. But
I
we're,
sent you.
Yeah, but we're definitely excited about where we're going as it relates to the Hive, because we feel like we've got a lot of room to grow here in the city.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, for sure. But you know, you talked about how you lost it all.
Yeah, no doubt.
You were struggling. What steps did you take to get back to where you are now? Well, not back to where you are now.
So I've got extreme belief in myself also.
Okay.
So that's one thing that I don't lack in any manner of thinking I could figure anything out.
Right.
So even amongst the times where I may be on margin or feel like there's not a solution, one, I believe in myself, and I also believe in God, like that.
Absolutely.
Hey, you'll provide. Like,
that
so
anchor.
I kind of anchor myself into those things, but it really just started with a plan.
Okay.
And if we go to what I do in my day-to-day career, I think a lot of us, we operate on it's just going to happen without a plan being in place that we can follow, track, and measure.
Right.
And if I allude to like a personal finance conversation, the first thing I usually start to ask people is, you know, if you've got a goal, what was your plan to accomplish that goal?
All right.
Most people don't have a plan. So I have to sit down and put a plan together. All right, what's going to be my next 10 years?
Okay.
All right, I failed or I lost this. How can I recover and be more abundant? And it really started with a plan.
Okay. See, yeah, we all need that lesson. Plan.
Yeah.
You can't really do it. Like you said, you can't do it when you can't measure it. When you don't know where you're going, how you're going to get there. Like your plan is your map. Your plan is your guide, at least, to keep you on track. But so how did you bounce back financially to even get here?
Yeah, thankfully, I have always, until recently, this is the first time that I'm a full entrepreneur, you would say.
Okay.
Since June of last year, I've always had a W-2, like always. And thankfully, well-paying W-2s. You know, when I was working in HR departments and made my way to leading an organization of about 30, you know, I had a lot of responsibility. With that responsibility came a decent paycheck. When I was a consultant working for my previous investment firm, you know, I had about a $3 billion book. You know, depending upon market, it could have been even a little higher, a little lower at times, but you know, that paid well. Right. So even as I had to pull back from maybe some of the more ambitious things that I was doing, I could anchor myself in that the 1st and the 15th, I was going to get a check until now.
Comfort.
Yeah, until now. So for whatever reason now, as I've launched my own investment firm, that 1st and 15th isn't guaranteed. You got to go out and work for it.
No.
Yeah.
You can have one good invoice this month, and I have one for like 2 months.
Man, who you telling? But you know, we celebrated an invoice the other day. I was like, man, this is, and they ain't paid it yet. Hey, you know, I'm talking to, but you know, but at the same time, you know, those are the things that are affirming.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I know you said you learned finances from life, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of us.
Absolutely.
But how was your upbringing?
Yeah. So military.
Money.
Yeah, so military. So my family was definitely more of a scarcity mindset.
Okay.
And that's nothing against my parents. They, you know, my dad, he was in the military for 28 years.
Okay.
From there, he never got out of a uniform. He immediately went from the military to ROTC. He ran an ROTC program. From running an ROTC program, he retired, and he still almost puts on his uniform just because it was a part of who he was.
Yeah.
Like that's just what he did. My mom, you know, she was an educator. So it's not like we had a lot of resources in our family. So it was more like, okay, we need to save, or we can't do this camp, or we can't do that. So the first things I was trying to do is I'm gonna make it out with athletics.
Okay.
Like, I'm gonna try to be an athlete.
That's typical though.
That's typical. Yeah. I had an older brother who played college football. I had a middle brother who was a pretty good basketball player. Me, I was a pretty good multi-sport athlete. My younger brother, he played college basketball. So all of us, we thought, hey, we're gonna make it in sports.
The whole family.
None of us made it. So thankfully, I liked math.
Okay.
So I was kind of able to anchor in on that. And that's kind of where I've gotten to what I'm doing now.
That's good. And so how would you say, like, outside of money and what you saw, how would you say, like, growing up with your family was for you? How did it develop you mentally?
Now, the blessing that I had is that at all times I had both my parents. So I can definitely say that, not that I'm a unicorn in that, but I know a lot of people in Black and brown community, the families may be separated at times or not always aligned. At the minimum, I can say I had both my parents at both times. And they were able to pour into me the muscle of, hey, you can do anything.
Right.
And even if you don't accomplish it when you want to, my dad, I'm also a PK. So my dad also would pour into, hey, you at church every day, right. And that kind of built a muscle for me as well. While some of the things I may have said, hey, I don't know if I agree with all of that right now. Mm-hmm. I still have all of those lessons and those details that kind of anchor in me moving forward.
That's good. And we're going to get into the finances, I promise y'all guys, but I like to get to the foundation.
No doubt.
First.
Yeah.
So for yourself, and I like that because all my guests is, for yourself, when did you first find God? Outside of outside
my parents.
Yeah, outside your parents.
I'd say right before my freshman year of college.
Okay. What happened?
So at the time when I thought I was going to be this big shot athlete, mm-hmm. and those dreams weren't materializing, a lot of my confidence, et cetera, was built into that. Not
identity, basically.
Absolutely. And when you lose some of that identity, you have to anchor yourself into things that are greater than yourself. Mm-hmm. And that's where I realized all the Vacation Bible School and the Wednesday church and the Sunday church, those lessons were me finding God in my own way. Okay. And it was things that I could pull back and say, well, I remember this story. I'm having my Samson moment, or I'm having this moment. And those were things probably about the time when I got to college that allowed me to kind of, make my way through that. So I'd say right before I got to college.
Okay. And I can say, you could probably say, like, from that day, your life changed.
I would agree. Yeah. It allowed me to walk more comfortably in who I was. Okay. Because not only did I have a creator that believed in me, right, that also was poured belief into myself.
So how was all these lessons that you're learning, how are they translating into like your home life with your wife and your kid?
Yeah, no, it's exactly almost as weird. I've kind of became my parents.
Okay.
Yeah. I never thought I would. Like, I used to see them sitting around. I'm like, what y'all doing? Like, right. But now I see, hey, there's benefit of maybe eating dinner together. Mm-hmm. There's benefit of having your family come. My wife and daughters just left here.
Right.
Like my daughter was working the birthday party today, so she not only may have an allowance, but she got a job too. You mentioned Dee, her daughter was working here today as well. And that's not because, hey, we don't want someone else to do it. Right. Those are lessons. Those are things that I can remember my dad doing the same thing. My dad, he did martial arts. I would go work the dojo with him. Okay. My dad was also an official, separate of him doing the military. So I would go learn how to ref basketball games. So it gave me a big piece of work ethic that I put into my family, that extending on to my kids as well.
And see, that's beautiful, guys, because that's a legacy right there.
No doubt. Right? Yeah.
We always think of legacy as financials, but it's the learned experiences. I did a podcast like 2 weeks ago in New Orleans, and I was like, I'm going to bring my son.
Yeah.
First time I ever brought him. And he literally was in there. He was loving it. The producer was teaching him what buttons to press. He produced that episode.
He'll never forget it.
Never.
And how old is he now?
He's 8.
Okay. I can promise you he'll never forget it. We just did a birthday, and sorry, I'm not trying to talk the Hive, but we do birthdays in here for youth where it's a unique experience where they either produce a podcast or make a short film, and they get to do like a red carpet and all this stuff. The kids never forget it. Right. Because it's like where else would you do that? Like, I promise you, your son will never forget that.
Oh no, he ran down the stairs this morning. I just finished my podcast. I said, huh? And he's like, yeah, I was watching a podcast. I forgot what show it was. Oh, Percy Jackson podcast.
Nice.
And I'm like, there's a podcast for everything now.
Oh, absolutely.
But he's so stuck on it. And I'm like, my wife looked at me. She said, you implanted that seed.
He'll never forget it.
Right.
Never forget
if you remember last week, last time I came and record, my wife was here.
She was. She sure was.
Yeah. I said, yeah, didn't you enjoy coming to watch it? She said, yeah, I did. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah, see, that's what I tell people, that this is more like, not only, and I appreciate your style, so I'll give you some flowers before we even get more into it, but I've talked to you personally just about what you're doing and the level of conversations that you're having with Black men, and that I appreciate that. Where I lobbied to be on the show. I said, hey, let me know. When can I get on? Yeah, I'm being honest. So just to see your family be able to come here, that's the environment we want to create. Some studios, it's not going to be like that.
Nah,
you know, I want anyone to feel comfortable bringing any extension of them, because I want them to feel comfortable that you're here.
Right.
Because you're an extension of them when you're gone. So this space needs to be an extension of you. So that's kind of how I look at it.
And it's also to have that support in the room for
Absolutely.
people too. Because and this is for any business, honestly. When you're serving your people, they want to come back. That's why I can sit here and say the Hive is live, right?
Man, I appreciate that. Yeah, for real.
But let's get into finances, because, and I want to start off with helping those families who are struggling. They don't really know what to do. So let's say a family is like they're down on their ends, right? And they have $1,600 that they want to invest or, build for the future. What would be your best first step for them?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I would say you're not going to invest.
Okay.
So if you're, and that's counter to my industry. So my industry would tell you, hey man, give me that 1,600 so I could charge a percentage and we try to grow that. But if you're down on your last 1,600, I want to see what your emergency savings looks like. The first thing I want to see is, are you prepared if all your income left to make it the next 3 to 6 months?
Right. So
I would sit down with you again and have that conversation about a plan. The first thing that I'm always going to do, and this is like even as a part of my credentials, I need to make sure that you're prepared for any type of investing.
All right.
I need to make sure that your finances are in a way where you're not over leveraged in debt. I'd say, hey, maybe that 1,600, you got some high interest debt. We should pay that first.
Okay.
Because that high interest debt is going to outpace anything that you would make in the market. So let's make sure we clear that out. If you, maybe have some things like some medical procedures or stuff like that we need to have a holistic view before I would ever sit down with someone when they said, hey, I just got this bucket of money. Right. Because that would be counter to what a holistic plan view would be of an individual.
Okay. So from your work, how, because you said pay off the debt and stuff. How much debt do you see? Well, you don't have to give me like a number, but how often do you see debt like taking over families?
Oh, 100% of the time. Like, we're in debt. Like Americans, just in general. Like Americans are the most debt rich country in the world. Like most people who are making it, especially now in the current state of the economy, they're putting the high price of gas on credit cards. Oh yeah. That's not coming out of people's, cash, because that cash flow they've got to use to pay their bills. Or, hey, we just left Christmas season. That $1 trillion that was spent wasn't all cash. Right. A lot of that was on high interest debt. Those loans that people take out to, maybe manage expense, or I will also include vehicles or secondary purchases that people do. We are a leveraged society, and I'm not excluding myself in that. Like I'm leveraged in a variety of things. I'm just leveraged in different things. Right. I might be leveraged in a real estate portfolio, or I might be leveraged in a business environment where I've got some debt that's towards that. But we are leveraged as a country, especially Black and brown people. Oh, yeah, especially. Yeah.
It's like they kind of walk you into it.
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
absolutely.
Hey, you got this credit card. I hate going
zero interest.
We'll give you 35% off this purchase. I'm like, okay, what about the next one?
and what people don't realize, marketing has been around before debt.
Oh, yeah.
Marketing is the first thing that puts you in the mindset of you need this. You have to do this. And then if you have to do it, you're going to take every step necessary, including getting yourself in debt to do it.
Yeah. So you have to stop being a consumer.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Consumerism is probably what drains our community the most.
Oh, yeah.
Not only consumerism amongst the people who are selling us things, but we do it amongst each other also because we compare our consumerism amongst each other.
Oh yeah, because everybody have to have the Tahoe,
absolutely,
the big house, the
I have 100 pairs of Jordans for no reason. I'm just being honest. Like I would not. I can't sit up here and be a hypocrite.
Right.
Like you will rarely see me in the same pair of shoes, and it was a ridiculous thing for me to do.
I was there. And I started throwing them away. I was like,
I'm almost out of it. I'm almost out of it. Trust me.
It's hard.
It's hard.
Because when you start seeing them shoes on them apps, you like, I could just order this and be at my house tomorrow.
And it does.
Mm-hmm.
And they made it too easy for us to buy things.
Convenient sales.
Yeah, it absolutely does.
Every time.
And to convenience, the thing that and this is a soapbox for me. Anybody who's around me, if you do DoorDash or a Grubhub or anything, I'm judging you. Right. Immediately, because the convenience fees that you're paying on that is ridiculous.
It's almost double.
Sometimes more than double.
Yeah, sometimes.
And people don't consider that, all for them not to get out of the comfort of their location. So if there's one soapbox that I'm always going to be on, it's going to be DoorDash Grubhub.
I feel that because sometimes I look at Uber Eats and then it says, "Oh, you can get it faster, priority," and it'd be like a minute faster.
Yeah,
it'd be a minute faster, but people be like, "Oh, let me hit that."
Yeah,
right.
And they don't know that extra $1.99 that isn't, and the driver never comes a minute faster.
Oh no,
they never come
Still
a minute faster.
late.
Yeah, absolutely. And then your food cold.
I had to stop one day because I was ordering tacos from this taco truck by my house, and one day I was like, "Let me go up here and price match the difference." And it was like $15.
Absolutely.
I said, "This is insane."
And no one. So you did yourself a service.
Mm-hmm.
Most people, you almost have guilt when you start to do it, that you don't want to go see if there's a difference.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to be proven wrong. Yeah.
You know there is. You just
you don't do it. And that's behavioral economics. Like we trick ourselves into certain purchases, and the people who are selling the things know that. Right. They know that they can do it.
And they make it convenient. Uber makes a lot of money off of Uber Eats.
Absolutely.
Because I think the restaurants get charged too.
Everyone gets charged.
Which is crazy.
And then think about it. Apple makes the most money.
Yeah.
Because they're on all the transactions because the device is on your phone.
Yeah, Apple Pay.
Yeah, and everything.
Every March they have an Apple event selling whatever's new. September the phones come out and people are like, I got the new phone. I had to stop doing that too.
It's consumerism, man. Like you got to remember, they have their only market research is studying how to get people to spend money.
Yeah.
They don't really, the products almost are the same every year.
Yeah.
But their market research.
Slight changes.
Hey, we know if we make this one little change, that's going to impact the 1,000 avatars that they have of Adam. They got 1,000 of you, and they only need to get one of those 1,000 in your head. Oh, I got to have it now because they made that one thing that I was looking for. And they've ran your algorithm maybe 1 million times.
Probably.
That's how it works.
Now they got AI to do it too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Get out of consumerism. Like really think about your purchases before you make these purchases because it is hurting your financial future for sure. But let's take it back because I know you said for those ones who are struggling their last 1,800 or 1,600 and you pay off debt and catch up, right? So let's say a better situation family, one who, they can cover their bills, everything. They just have extra money because they got the income taxes.
Yep.
About right now. Right.
That's true.
So instead of booking that trip or going to that concert, because we know tax season is concert release season.
Yep.
Right. What should they do with that money?
Yeah. So that's a layered answer now.
Okay.
So now we've got someone who may be in a position where they can sit down and do an actual financial plan.
Okay.
So if someone, because I kind of look at taxes not as really a bonus.
Right. Most people do.
I know that, and that's why I'm different. But that's why I'm in the industry I'm in because I know that you just gave that interest-free loan to the government all year.
Yeah.
And they really just gave you a portion of it back. So
once I learned that, I said, you know what?
Yeah. So, but if someone was in a position where they were able to get a tax refund, the first thing I would sit down is let's come up with an actual statement of what you have.
Okay.
What's your net worth? Let's sit down and really see, okay, these are your debts. These are your assets.
Okay.
Let's figure out where you fall as it relates to your net worth, because these dollars that you have, they may be better positioned in the market, but they also may be better positioned doing something else with it.
Okay.
Or you may be in a situation where I'm not so much concerned about you investing. Hey, go do something fun.
Right.
I think too many times we martyr ourselves in savings.
Yep.
I want us to save. I want us to get to retirement, but I also want us to live a full life.
Yeah.
Because we're only promised one of these. So if you came to me and you were like, hey, we got this money sitting here, we may take a portion of that and start doing something with a vehicle. But if you had a goal to take your family somewhere, let's do that.
Right.
Let's figure out a way to fit that in our plan and in our budget. And as long as it's not sacrificing what we're doing 10, 15, 20 years down the line, then let's do it.
Yeah.
Because I think too many times you'll hear the stories of, well, you can't do this because you don't buy that coffee. That coffee's messing up. It's not.
All right.
Coffee's not messing up your financial plan. It's the abundance of things around that coffee and the habits that you've built that's messing up your financial plan.
Going to get that coffee, buying the Starbucks cup.
It's all the other things. Like I think what we've done in society, we make small things the problem when it's really the habits that we've built that's the issue.
Yeah, because a lot of us didn't see money in a light. Like I saw my parents spend money.
Yeah.
So that's what I learned. I was like balling out. We was off the balcony. We having fun, right? And it wasn't until Job season hit, and I was like, something don't feel right. and so a lot of us, and
that's hilarious.
It's funny because I'm talking to a lot of people like around my age, and they're just like, rebuilding after 30, and you done made all these decisions at 20 is hard.
Yep. Right. The 30s really are probably the most difficult years.
Okay.
As speaking from someone who's 45. And the reason why I say that is because you really don't know anything still.
Right. You still kind of learning a lot.
You don't have the years of experience in your field. I'm just gonna say it. Sometimes you're making your way to your second relationship. Now I'm being real. Let's be real.
That's real though. That's real.
Like you may have moved and didn't realize how damaging that move was going to be to your financial situation. You may have, the 30s are when you think you're at your best, but you're not. Like you're really still sorting out life.
Right. You're still climbing to your best.
Yeah. You're still in your accumulation phase.
Okay.
Like everything in your 30s, you're thinking is what's next, what's next, what's next. In your 30s, no one ever stops to celebrate. Tell me the last time you stopped to celebrate.
When I went in the woods like a month ago.
Okay. And we talked about that.
Yeah, we did.
And what did I say I said, man, I can't believe you did that.
You did. You were shocked.
Like, because you're 30. You know what I'm saying? I would have never thought, hey, I need to take a break.
Right.
Everything at that time was accumulate. Y'all are just healthier than we are.
Right.
You know, y'all have learned the lessons of sit down for a second, take a pause, take a beat. You know, I'm the oldest millennial. You know, we grind ourselves down.
Oh yeah. Because we were taught. That's what we saw.
That's what we saw.
And even me, that's what I saw. I don't know. I just knew I didn't want to be like that.
And I respect that. That's why I like this show.
Right. Yeah. I knew I didn't want to work myself to the bone. I caught myself doing it at one point. I was just like, I'm good.
Yeah.
But back to finances for sure. Dang, that's good. So when we go into finances, I just want you to break down like some principles that you feel like everybody should know, basic principles. Of course, as the series go on, we will get deeper into these things, but just give us something to start off with.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So to me, there's kind of like three basic things that, and I'll specifically talk about our community.
Okay.
You know, I'll start with us. The first thing is, as people, most of our wealth will be accumulated in real estate.
All right.
Most of a Black person's wealth, at least in this country right now, it's not going to be starting a Fortune 500 company. I mean, I'm just being real, you know, but people are, we've got a lot of illusions that we've got the next great idea.
It's that get that LLC tomorrow and be rich today and be rich tomorrow.
Exactly. And people will, me included, will push all the chips onto the table for that one idea. Right. When some of the safer things that communities can do is anchoring themselves in a single family home. Right. And I'm not going to say that I'm an advocate for real estate first, because remember, I'm just giving you a few things. Oh, yeah. We'll get deeper as we go along. But most wealth is generated in a real estate asset. Right. Second thing I would say is that we should anchor ourselves in some type of long-term protection, i.e. insurance. All right. The second piece of our wealth that's typically inherited or accumulated is someone passed and they had some form of term life insurance. Okay. Where the beneficiaries, and I'm going to say this again, the beneficiaries were correct on the document. So you didn't have to go to probate or you didn't have to go to court. Your family could go in, sign paperwork that said, hey, this policy belongs to Adam. Okay. I'm going to give you this $1 million for, you know, being deceased. Right. That's another way. I would always say protect, cover your family insurance. Seems like it's a waste of money, but in reality, it's a way. It's not. Yeah.
It looks pointless until it's not.
And that's all insurance. Now, some you can be overinsured.
Right.
So I'm not here to tell you to go out and get universal index life, term, whole. Like we can go through all the policies, but I just encourage people, the cheapest way to do something. And again, this isn't advice. We're just having a general conversation. That term life policy,
right.
20, 30 years based on your health. It's going to be $10, $15 a month.
Okay.
You know, and your family may be able to get $250, $500, $750, $1 million based on that. So, and then the third strategy that I would always say is you have to build an emergency savings bucket.
Okay.
And I'll use me as an example. Over the summer, as I was having discussions with my former employer, it led to me being essentially laid off.
All right.
Okay. So had I not been in a situation where I've been following some of these plans and guidelines, most of us can't cover an emergency that's more than $400. At one time right now, you need a tire in your car. Most of us are putting that on credit or can't do it.
Right.
Your refrigerator goes out. Most of us are putting it on credit and can't do it. At least in this case, I was fortunate enough to have 3 to 6 months of emergency savings.
That's the important part.
It
didn't change too much about your life.
Exactly. And to the point where I can say, all right, it gives me a little more comfort to know I can make some decisions differently because, okay, at least I've got this for a while and I don't necessarily have to go get a job that I may not want. Or I don't have to go do things that are counter to my beliefs to make sure I keep food on the table.
Right.
Hey, that happens, man.
It do.
Like, you know, so if those are just some entry level things, do what you can. Don't put yourself in extreme debt, but try to get in some real estate.
Okay.
You know, have some protection through insurance.
Okay.
And then have some emergency savings.
Okay.
And that's not in order, but those were just kind of 3 things.
Yeah, 3 things. Can you go a little bit deeper into term life?
Because, yeah, absolutely.
You know, a lot of people don't really know about it, especially in our community.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I remember one point everybody was like, go get this term life policy.
No, they were saying whole.
Yeah.
They were saying whole life. Yeah.
Whole life. Yeah. And then borrow against it. I was like, that don't even make sense to me. But
yeah. So there are multiple types of insurance policies, even down to in the investment world. There are people like myself that also sell what's called an annuity.
All right.
And an annuity is an insurance contract where you would take a portion of your cash. That portion of your cash is sold to an insurance provider, and then they give you some form of guaranteed income over your duration of life.
Okay.
But if we're talking about just the basic life insurance that I would encourage everyone to get, and again, I have to disclaim that this isn't advice, but term life is the easiest policies to get.
Okay.
They're the cheapest policies to get, and they are the less expensive based on your time and effort that you have to put in. So for example, most term life policies, or how insurance sometimes works, you might have to go get a medical exam to know if you're insurable.
Okay.
If you've got a chronic condition, it may raise the amount of your premium. If you have family history, like some in policies, they may be looking at, hey, did your dad have heart conditions? Did your mom have kidney failure? What was your 2 furthers up? Did your grandparents have X cancer or something like that in their family? Typically with a term life policy, those are very easy to get. Okay. They're really inexpensive, and they're indexed based on your age. And what I mean by that is you being 32, they're going to look at you as 32. They're going to say, hey, you might have life expectancy until 85.
Okay.
So someone would say is, hey, we're going to give you a 20-year policy. So what some people would say is, well, I'm throwing that money away for these 20 years.
Okay. Yeah. You might not make those 20 years though.
And that's what I try to tell people. So what that 20-year policy is, they may give you $250,000 as life insurance. You'll get that certificate. It'll sit at your house. And if anything were to happen, as long as you've got your beneficiaries, you may only pay $8-9 a month for that based on your health. Okay. And to me, that's one of the easiest things, because let's imagine, we don't want anything negative to happen. Let's say something does happen. You got the 8-year-old, the wife, the 4-year-old, whatever it is. If they could get that $250,000, they're gonna be in a much better position than doing GoFundMes.
Oh yeah. Because I will say they can grieve better with knowing they have money that's taken care of than it is
Absolutely.
trying to grieve your loss and you not being there and at the same time trying to raise money to bury you.
Because they're gonna do GoFundMe's.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I've seen it.
And there's even see what people don't know. There's even final expense insurance.
Really?
Yes,
I didn't even know that.
You can buy insurance just for the final expense. Like anything that would happen after death,
Okay.
they're not as expensive as other policies. They're called final expense, and that's something that'll take care of those burial expenses and things like that. But if you sat with someone who would help you with a plan, they may say, hey, you've got this history of your family.
Right.
And we're not going to make this a morbid conversation, but let's be realistic and understand that you had lupus.
Right.
Lupus in your family took out XYZ before a certain age.
Mm-hmm.
Let's have that conversation.
It's a possibility.
And you have to do that
Mm-hmm.
because if we're here for the next generation, then we need to prepare for that next generation also.
Right.
Yeah.
And it helps us to get better at accepting it.
Correct.
And the ones who come after us will make it easier for them to
Yeah.
accept it too. Or you might be one of those people who just, I beat it.
Yeah.
So now you know how to beat it.
Absolutely.
And so back to like the term life and everything, does that affect like your tax time at all?
No. See those type of things. The only time that you typically have a tax hit from anything related to this is once you start to pull money out.
Right.
That's when you will have income or you'll have a distribution or you'll have something that may impact your tax situation. Now, if you're getting, let's say you're getting insurance through a job,
Okay.
that's where it could potentially affect your tax situation because that's coming off of your paycheck. When you receive your W-2, there'll be like line items for the insurance that you paid, how much your company may have put in for the insurance for you also. That may have an impact on your overall tax. But what you do on an individual level, it's going to be minor. You know, you'll work with your accountant. Your accountant will say, well, how much did you pay in insurance policies this year? They'll look at that. They'll be able to see if there's some form of deduction or some form of credit that you'll receive there, and you'll move forward. But it's not going to impact you in a negative way at all.
Okay. Because I never knew that. And I'm asking questions too because I'm a student. Right?
Yeah, no doubt.
And this is why you should have conversations like this because people know things that you don't know, but you need the knowledge for your own life, no matter what field you're in, honestly, especially when it's finances. Finances is everywhere.
It's everywhere. Yeah.
No matter what you do, you have to spend money.
Absolutely.
And it costs a lot to leave your house.
It costs a lot to live. I mean, people don't get that. Yeah, and die. It costs more to die sometimes than it did to live.
It's like I'm leaving here with problems.
Correct. Correct. Absolutely. I mean, people don't even consider like, you know, you're taxed on death. There's inheritance taxes.
There's inheritance taxes?
Absolutely. If you were to leave money to your family, depending upon how you were structured and how you planned prior to death, your family could get taxed a good amount on the money that you leave them. And those are all conversations that I have with people on a day-to-day basis.
Okay. This is not personal advice, guys, but
yeah, no doubt.
Do you feel as though, you know, that money should go into like a trust or LLC or something?
Okay. So there are different tools
Okay.
that provide different levels of protection
Okay.
depending upon the level of income that you would be leaving.
Okay.
Do I believe in a trust? Absolutely.
Right.
Is it the tool for everybody? No.
Okay.
Is an LLC the tool for everybody? Absolutely not. Especially in the state of Texas, because Texas has franchise taxes on their LLCs that people aren't even aware of.
Right.
And most of the time when people have an LLC in Texas, they're not paying those taxes. Their LLC don't even be active. No, I'm being for real.
No,
they don't even know it, that it's not active. They going around with their EIN and all these things. They haven't paid those franchise. The state of Texas isn't honoring them as an LLC.
Right.
They're just lucky no one's came to try to get any money from them where they thought they would have the protection of that. No, that's going straight to the personal. So there's different rules that you need to understand before you make a decision to do anything.
Right.
Whether that's, you know, trust, last will and testament, LLC, buying things in an LLC. You know, you need to understand those rules because there's a lot of rules anchored into those. And I learn new rules every day.
Right. Man. See why this episode is sponsored by TRG Financial, right? Oh man. So let's go into like every day. I know we talked a lot about death, right?
Yeah.
And I don't want to get too morbid on it.
No doubt.
So like let's say a family is trying to start a budget.
Yeah.
Now, what would an ideal budget look like if you were to give like a template of it?
Yeah. So for me, I use percentages
Okay.
more than anything. And it's really based on
how much you're bringing in.
Yeah, and family need.
Okay.
Because, you know, there'll be individuals who may have a child with a condition that requires a certain type of medical treatment that this standard budget may not work for them, or they may have a condition themselves. But typically I'd say you want to put about, 60% of your income should be for, the things that you have to do.
Right.
That's your yeah.
Not a Sunday fun day.
Yeah. The things that you need, your living expenses, your transportation expenses, your food expenses. And I'm not talking about the Uber Eats and the Grubhub. I'm talking about groceries, things that that's probably going to be about, anywhere from, 50 to 60% of your income, period.
Right.
Those are your needs. Okay. Then I would tell people that you've got wants also. And those are the things that, hey, they may not be exactly, and a part of that 60% also includes your savings. Okay. That's also going to include your savings and your retirement and the things that you have to do. Then there's going to be like your wants. You might be looking at that, 30%, 60 to 30% now. So there's some things that I know I want to do. I got to have a standard of living. You don't want people to martyr themselves, like I said. And in that 10% is going to be the things that's kind of like nice to have. Like, something that either, hey, I could set aside and do some additional investing with this, or it's going to be a part of my additional emergency savings bucket. So of that 100% pool, you're going to make sure you take care of everything first.
That's 60%.
Yep. And then that 30%, we're going to be able to have some flexibility but it's still going to be some things that you're required to do. Okay. And then at 10%, do whatever you want to with, unless you're on the margins where you've got high interest debt or loans that you need to be covered, because that 10% needs to be covering all that.
Right.
It needs to be a part of that process. But if you got a pretty clean bill, we can come up with a pretty solid plan for you.
Okay. Pay that debt.
Yeah, absolutely. If there's anything that I would say, and trust me, I need to pay mine. So I'm never a hypocrite. I always talk about what I'm going through as well. You have to pay that high interest debt first. Yeah. You have to.
Because it eats you. You start seeing that number just go up. Go up.
And don't pay the minimum, because it's not even eating the interest of the debt.
It's not.
Yeah, it's not. It's not.
Back when I didn't know finances, of course. So back when I was like 20 and I first got credit cards, I was
absolutely.
Like, I only got paid $25.
You saw that? You was lit.
Man, I was lit. I was happy. And I realized, I was like, I've been paying this for a while. And it still ain't zero.
Most people don't realize if you just pay the minimum balance, it'll take up to 40 years to pay off a card.
That's crazy. That's a mortgage.
Longer.
Yeah, that is longer.
Yeah, they might introduce a 50-year mortgage. I discourage it, but they might introduce a longer mortgage to let people get in based on house affordability. But most people mortgages are 20, 30 years.
I'm not paying on a house for half a century.
Right.
That ain't
right.
But that's another thing. A lot of people, when we get money, the first thing people go buy is cars and homes.
Correct. And I'm not uncomfortable with the home.
Right.
And the reason why I'm not uncomfortable with the home is because there's appreciation value, depending upon where you purchase it. There's maybe additional income. And then also if you're maybe using a strategy where you house hack or some things like that, where you're able to make your home an income producing property, I'm not opposed to that. I am opposed to new vehicles though. Yeah. I've never bought a brand new vehicle.
I bought 2 of them.
I've never bought a brand new. Now I've bought used vehicles from the lot, but I've never purchased a brand new vehicle. Once I learned that trap, probably about 21, I've never purchased a brand new vehicle.
So what's the trap? Let's talk about that.
Because as soon as you go off the lot, it's depreciated about 25%.
Which is crazy.
But that's how it works.
Right.
You can't even get off the lot. Once you sign that paperwork and you get off the dealership, you can't come back in and get anything near to what you just bought it for.
That is crazy though. And it's a scam.
And that's the trap.
Yeah, that's
because the trap is, unlike houses and land, they're not making any more land on earth.
Right.
Like
you got what you got.
You've never heard of anybody like, man, I just found this new land. But you know what they make every year? A new model of a car.
Yeah.
So the old model of the car value is already down because there's a newer model.
And it goes back to what we said about like iPhones. They made one tweak.
Correct.
And I think they changed the body style every 4 years.
Every 4 years. Yeah.
And I remember I bought 2020. I did get a good deal on it because I was running game. But I bought my wife a brand new 2020 Honda Pilot.
Okay.
Because that was our deal. She was like, if we have another kid, I need an SUV.
You need an SUV. Yeah.
Like, bet.
Yep.
Right. But that's when I was high rolling.
No doubt. I got you.
That was before Christ. right? And so I got it, and then I end up the next year I bought myself a brand new car.
Oh, so you was in deep now. You got two payments.
Oh
yeah.
I was two payments, and we was living in Georgia at the time. When we moved down, I sold my house, and I made like $80,000 off of it.
Okay.
And I threw that at the car notes and was like, I don't want these car notes.
Smart man. Right? Smart man.
It has its blessings and curses if you do it the right way.
Yeah.
But if I could go back, I wouldn't have bought those brand new.
Yeah, I've never bought a brand new car off the lot. Like even my wife's vehicles, everything has been either the year before or even if it's in the same year that we've purchased, it's gonna have some miles on it. I learned that lesson at least relatively early, and I've never fell into that trap.
Yeah, them shiny jewels.
Oh, they be looking so good too.
So
come on,
smelling good.
And
want to test drive it? No,
that's marketing too. You know, because your car will never smell as good as it did.
That's a fresh detail.
It'll never smell that good. So they know how to get you. Yeah, they know how to get you.
It's kind of like stores, because the layout of the store is strategic.
Absolutely.
And I used to, when I was high school, I was working at HEB, and that's when I learned it. I was like, the layout is strategic. They get you all the healthy stuff first, and then you cut that corner, you get the meat section.
It's phenomenal at that point.
Oh yeah, they put the eggs and the milk all the way in the back, because you got to go through all these snacks.
You have to, yeah, and not to mention the shelf placement. You know, at eye level, it's going to be all the things that parents may want, but at that mid level, it's going to be every expensive cereal possible that the kids shouldn't be eating. And that's just how it works. It's conditioning.
Yeah. And I see those little juices that have the cartoon characters on top of them.
Yeah, those are so expensive too.
And them kids be like, oh, I want one of these.
Yeah. and it's the same juice, but marked up 150%.
Which is crazy.
That's how it works,
but
man.
Hey, consumerism.
Yeah.
They know people are going to buy it. And that's why they put the candy at that
Absolutely.
point. So it's like, you really have to have the emotional intelligence to say, I'm not going to buy this. Do I really need it?
Yeah. Now I fail on candy though. You know, they get me every time. On that
Snickers look
they
good
gonna they gonna get me on some gummies. They will definitely get me on it for sure.
So you have to really. I had to go in the store with a plan. I can't go in there hungry. I can't, because I know, like, going in there like that, I'm like, oh, I want this. I want this. And then when I get home, I didn't really want that.
You don't.
But not even just in the store. That's just in life, right?
Yeah.
So, Sunday fun day.
Yeah.
Drinks.
Yeah.
I'm going to hookah. I'm going to get bottomless mimosas. I'm going to do this. Not realizing how much money that eats up.
Yeah, it's expensive, man. Like the day-to-day of what you can do, at least in Houston, because a lot of people experienced this over spring break. They didn't realize how Houston club owners and restaurateurs, they made out during spring break, because they had their margins up 80% on people and they didn't even know it.
Oh yeah.
Now it's local people we knew, but the out-of-towners, y'all got scammed. Like, I'm just telling you. Yeah.
I remember, I'm not going to say the name, but I pulled up somewhere before and like parking was like $100.
That's insanity.
$100?
We don't even charge for parking here like that. That's crazy. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Just to put my car in a spot for a couple hours so I can go in there and spend more money. And people do it.
Yep.
I remember I was trying to put a friend group trip together, and it was January. And the trip wasn't until like July.
Okay.
And all I heard, it was like what, $1,700 a person, maybe?
Okay.
Maybe less than that, actually. It was less than that. It was per couple. And people was like, oh, I can't make it. I'm like, it's January. How you know you can't make it? Like, do you like look at your finances past this weekend?
We talk about plans.
Right. Didn't have it.
Because you can plan for a trip like that. Hey, I'm going to put aside $300 a month.
Yeah. And I said, that's so simple. Just, I got to the point to where I don't even want to see it. When I was getting paid, just go to this account.
Yep.
And when I'm ready to book that trip, I'm like, oh, I got it. Let's go.
And see, you're ahead of the game. So I'll give a piece that, and you know, this might come in a later conversation, but I if you work with me, you're going to have 3 accounts.
All right.
You're going to have 3 buckets because I don't, just like you're saying, I don't want you to see the money that we're saving.
Right.
Because
you're going to spend it.
Yeah. That needs to be auto drafted into whatever investment vehicle or whatever savings account or whatever we're doing, because that's going to make it much easier for you to follow the plan.
Right.
And that, you know, I've got a 3 bucket strategy that we use, but you know, there's going to be some stuff that's taxable. There'll be some things that's tax deferred. And then there'll be things that we just use as an account.
Right.
And I really like to set things up that way because it allows you to consider, okay, I won't even touch this until I retire.
Right.
But these other two things is what I'm managing my life across. And so you were doing exactly right, planning for that trip the same way.
Yeah, and because that's how I always, it's crazy because I always thought I wasn't good at finances.
Nah, you got it if you're doing that.
In certain areas, I'm like, but I can do it there. It's like you have to revamp your mind and say, I know what I'm doing.
Absolutely.
I just have to use it more productively. Because if I could plan for a trip, I can plan for
you can plan for
6
anything.
months, right?
Yeah.
But I seen it in that instance because it was, I can't go, but I see you at Papados every 2 weeks. I see you at Sunday Fun Day, and that's about $300-$400 a day. Easy, without blinking.
Easy, especially in Houston. Right. Easy.
And so it's more so you have to have that discipline. Yeah, finances for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
And prioritize like your future.
Yep. I completely agree. I think most of us have a short-term view of life. Okay. And a question that I typically would ask people if I'm asking about a goal, the answers that I typically get back are within the next 24 months. Okay. I need to know what you think in the next 5-10 years. Because if you're working with me, our relationship, I don't plan it to just be the next 24 months.
Right.
I should be working with you until we're both old.
Yeah. Because you should have one part. You shouldn't bounce.
Well, maybe not,
Well, not too much.
There is some, benefit of maybe seeing what other people are doing. I've won and lost clients, that happens. But I would definitely say that, a financial advisor or institutional consultant roles that I play in people's lives, those are relationships. I'm damn near someone's spouse. No, I'm being for real. Like I'm having real conversations with people. People will call me about something that they want to spend. And I may have to be the middle person between a couple. That happens to me. Like, hey, well, and then Breon said, do this or what. I'm like, hey man, like not only are you using my government, but two, like, why am I in this? Right. But that's the role that I play in some. And then at institution levels, sometimes I'm the middle person between a CFO and a CEO. Okay. Hey, our retirement plan needs this investment. We believe in this investment because of this. Well, how does this affect your investment policy statement? Right. Why are we going to make this change? Well, I know the person here, but let's go back to this investment policy statement. Right. That's why you have documents and plans, because you can always go back to the decision we make. When I work with families, man, I bring the kids in it. If they're over 12, you need to sit in these meetings.
You need to learn.
Yeah.
Like I don't know much about finances. I'm still learning really. But I make sure my kids
learn
something.
Absolutely.
Right. And I'm teaching them you don't have to spend just because you want something.
Correct.
And people think that, kids are just so young. They're only 5. They don't understand. It's like them kids understand.
Man, they know. Yeah. They know. And they compare themselves against their peers.
Yep.
They do that immediately. I got a middle schooler that they compare themselves against their peers. Even and she wears a uniform. Really? And they still compare themselves against their peers.
It happens.
And you all look the same.
Even as adults, we do it though.
That is true. That is true.
In social media. Right?
Yeah.
Everybody's scrolling and you seeing these big houses. Yeah. I got caught in too. I was like, man, why am I living in this? I deserve better. But it's like, I know I ain't there yet. One day.
No doubt.
That's that compare, especially in middle school.
Absolutely.
My oldest, she just started middle school this year. And for the first month, I want a phone. For what?
Yeah. Yeah.
For what?
Yep.
Well, my friends, for
why?
It has nothing to do with you.
Yep.
That's their parents'
different
decisions, different values. And we're in the second semester, I can see the difference between her and other kids.
Yeah. They're definitely the way, and that's why that home life is important. I'm not saying that one home life is better than the other, but being able to have a relationship with your kid about your values, and especially your values as it relates to money, will carry her forward forever.
Oh yeah. And I think that's in any aspect, not even just finances. The more you teach in your home, you're laying the foundation.
Absolutely.
And I think where a lot of parents go wrong is they're expecting the schools to teach their kids everything their kids need for life.
Correct.
They're not doing that.
No, they don't even have the bandwidth.
No, they don't.
They're paying for their own supplies. You know what I'm saying? You expect them to, they already on a margin.
Yep.
And you expect them to be able to teach your kid the values. You got to always supplement what's happening at the school.
Absolutely.
Or at least that's my thought.
It is, because my wife was a teacher for a while, and I would see it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, well, they're expecting you to do a lot more things that really they should be doing.
Correct.
As parents, and teaching finances, teaching spiritual.
Yeah.
That's essential. And so now, how does it look for you to show your kids finances, or have you gotten to that point yet?
Yeah, absolutely. So my oldest for sure. So she has her own debit card.
Okay.
So the work that she does, hey, don't she do? I put her on my taxes too. She's an employee. I get there. I can teach y'all how to do that as well. Your kids can't be an employee, but so the money that she'll make here, she doesn't see it. It just gets put on a debit card.
Okay.
But she can log into the banking app and see what her balance is.
Okay.
But I give her a limit of how much she can spend a week.
Okay.
So let's say right now she might have like $300 in this account.
Okay.
But she can only spend 10% of that a week.
About $30.
And be pissing her off. During spring break, she went with her friends to like First Colony Mall.
Mm-hmm.
They was in Sephora. They was all these places. She went over there. She tried to break the limit.
Oh yeah.
She went over there, tried to buy something that was like $45, declined in front of all her friends. And I'm happy. I'm happy this happened.
Right.
Because, hey, and they're like, I thought you had money.
Right.
Well, you need to explain to him that, well, my dad has me on a plan.
Right.
And she had to have that conversation.
Yeah, you have to, because they have to bump their head. And I think about how like God treats us. He'll walk us into a fire and then say, you shouldn't do that.
I'm gonna do it though. That's my problem. Yeah, I mean, look. I can definitely say,
don't do it.
Yeah, it's gonna. Yeah. I'm gonna touch the iron a few times, and see how bad I get burned before I decide if I'm gonna do it again. But I'm a risk taker sometimes too. But that's my flaw. Yeah, that's my flaw.
I think as a good entrepreneur, you have to be a risk taker.
Yeah.
And some kids are. I remember my 4-year-old. My wife was telling her, "Don't touch the stove; it's hot." She burned her hand. Now. Stove hot. Stove hot. Like I don't want to touch it. I'm like, you learned a lesson.
That's how you learn.
And we could have saved her from it.
Nah, you gotta let them do it.
Sometimes you got to let them.
You gotta let them do it.
Sometimes you gotta let bump on your head. Just like in life, I wouldn't say experience is the best teacher, because you can learn from other people's mistakes.
Absolutely.
But it's a hard teacher.
It is. It's probably if you can learn from others, of course, like you said, that's best. But I don't think there's anything like your personal experience. There's nothing like it, because while you can have empathy for someone, you really didn't know how that felt.
Right.
And when you go through it, it kind of changes your whole demeanor around things. Yeah.
I'm telling y'all, that Job season changed my whole life around finances.
Yeah, I can see
it's
that.
Personal, honestly, everywhere. But as we're wrapping up, I just definitely want to thank you for being here.
Nah, come on.
Thank you for having the Hive, for having the TRG Financial. What would be your message to the world right now?
Yeah, so the world is in chaos, quite frankly, right now. And it's not and what I would say is it's not at any fault of one individual. I think it's a series of things that's kind of got us all uneasy.
Right.
So what I would encourage people right now is go to what you believe in and the people who love you and make a plan.
Right.
Because, and I'm not talking, this isn't even a financial conversation. I'm just talking about just a life plan.
Right.
Because what happens is in America, especially, we got so individualistic.
Very much so.
My family, my resources, my own community.
Right.
Versus being willing to expand and support those who are around you.
Right.
So I would say, find you a community. Find you a tribe. Make sure that what you're believing in, you're anchoring in what you believe in, because we're going to be chaotic for a good bit.
I can see it.
And that chaos will turn into scarcity for a lot of people. And that scarcity for a lot of people may make them make decisions that they otherwise wouldn't. You want to be on the good side of that.
Right.
And if you're on the good side of that, that means that you've got a community that's there to support you, similar to the community that you're building. The community that you're building will be able to support people through a lot of this chaotic time.
Right.
Yeah.
And I've seen it this morning, actually. I had my first coaching call, community call.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. And the fella showed up. It was at 7:00 this morning.
Nice.
And I made it early on purpose because I wanted to see who was going to show up for themselves. Because it wasn't for me. It's for you.
Yep.
And the fellas that came in, I can tell like they needed it.
Yeah.
They needed a space and a community just to let free. A lot of guys let some stuff go that they've been holding on to. And this was the first call.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we definitely need it. For a long time, I said Black men didn't have safe spaces. Yeah. And so creating one was a full circle moment for me. It's like, okay, I saw this problem, but I have a solution for it. And it could be the same thing for you in the finances as well.
Yep.
But man, this is the first of our series. If you have any questions, drop them below. I'll ask them on the show, right? Uh, your finances is important. You are important. It's a part of your mental health. It's part of your holistic being, right? And as we're going through financial literacy month, continue to learn. Not even just from this podcast. Find other shows that talk about finances. Do your own research. And how can they reach you? You know, if they want to get help with you.
Yeah. So you can reach me at www.trg-financial.com, or my government. You know, most people call me LP, but you can also send me an email, Rollins, ROLLINSB REION at trg-financial.com. Or on Instagram. You can find me under my name also. I'm always putting out a lot of finance content. Like, my content is going to be based on the conversations we have today, or you're always welcome to come here to the Hive, 7800 Amelia Road. I'm here pretty much every day.
He live here.
Yeah, at this point.
He might got a cot
Yeah,
somewhere,
yeah.
right?
I need to get out of that. But you know, I know where we're at in the phase of this business, and I know where we're going. So yeah, you can find me at those places.
Yeah. And that speaks to just knowing the vision and making the sacrifices that make it happen.
No doubt.
Right. But again, guys, that's your lesson for the week. Thank you guys for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, leave a review, whatever it is you want to do. But see you guys next week.